In the finals of the Lindores Abbey Rapid Challenge 2020, Hikaru Nakamura is a point up in the first set. He won that comprehensively, beating Daniil Dubov 2 games to 1 with a draw. So we come to set number 2. The question was, will Daniil Dubov be able to bounce back? So there we go. In the first game, Hikaru is white, Dubov is black. Hikaru opens with e4 and no Filedo this time. Dubov opts for the Sicilian, and we go into this Alapin variation of Sicilian defense, which is quite odd, and you expect these kind of openings especially in blitz or rapid games. And there we go, we are seeing it by Hikaru. So Hikaru is white and he's experimenting with this, but this is normal stuff in the Alpin variation. And the c4 closing this bishop and bishop coming to c2, so this is pretty much all standard, but the problem is this far advanced pawn, and it's very difficult to defend this pawn. If you play d4, that will simply be captured, and this knight is somewhat coming into the way of this f pawn. So if anytime this d6 comes or the d5 comes, then the pawn has to take it, otherwise black will have a very good center of its own. So there we go, d5, pawn is taken en passant, queen takes, castles, and bishop g4. And Hikaru had the same position against MVL, where he played h3, and he had a very good position there, but the game fizzled out to a draw. But here, after bishop g4 against Dubov, in the game Hikaru plays queen e2, which is quite odd because it gives black some chances, and without developing these pieces you are moving this queen, and not to forget this bishop is really poor, being blocked by these two pawns, and there isn't a good way to play either d4 or b4 getting this bishop out, which leaves this c3 square being very much vulnerable. And not to forget, the knight stays on the spin, so chances are to play knight e5 and ruining the pawn structure like that, and these three pawn islands won't be uncomfortable for black, oh beg your pardon, for white. And he doesn't take opportunity of this. Probably he should have played either queen f6 or knight e5 taking advantage of this, but he plays long castles. He castles queenside, king safety is priority. So but you have to see that there is no c pawn here, which creates a bit of hole in black's queenside position, and with this no c pawn, this king can easily become a target. Knight a3 by Hikaru, probably b4 or b3, just try to develop this bishop ASAP would have been better, because with this knight a3, although you are attacking this pawn twice, but queen e6, which was played in the game, simply defends this pawn, and still there is a very huge question mark of development of this light square bishop. And if this doesn't develop, knight sitting on a3, no a4 is coming, so this rook can also be a put of like burden on white's position. Queens are traded, bishop takes e6, and now b3. Well, b3 is too late in my opinion, because all of a sudden everything is looking a little bit shaky, but white also has a compensation in the form of his own weaknesses on the king side. These king side pieces aren't developed either, so taking advantage of this, he could have played knight g5 to attack the bishop and try to hamper black's pawn structure with two isolated pawns in the center of the board. That could have been better. And if you play bishop d5, then I don't see how things can stand out better for black, because now then c4 will be a point of question mark. Anyway, bishop d5, there we go, b takes c, knight takes c, knight takes c, and bishop takes c. The rook is hit, so rook comes to e1. Bishop d3, so this is a good move to fix this pawn here, and if this is taken, then rook sits very good here on this d3 square. It's putting more pressure on this d pawn, which limits this bishop's movement, because if bishop leaves, then d2 will be a loose point in white's position and can easily be a point of target. Bishop takes, rook takes, and now rook e3 offering the trade of rooks, but rook tucks back to d7. Bishop comes to a3. Knight is defending the pawn here. So if white gets d4 on time, then that would be a huge achievement for white in that position. But let's see whether he will get it or not. e5 offering the trade of bishops, which was gleefully accepted. Rook takes, and now h4, just probably pushing this pawn. Not only that, but creating a space for his own king in case some bad things happen on the back rank. f6, just solidifying this pawn on on e5, excuse me. h5, rook fd8, doubling on the d5. King f1, just centralizing the king. b6, good move indeed. Just try to play this, and in case something nasty happens, just to correct the pawn structure basically, and also initiating a5 if it ever happens. With this b6, this weakness on b7 disappears, and he could have played a6 as well. That would have been also the same. g3, king b7, king g2, knight e7, rook e4. Still nothing bad is happening, but although black sits better in this position because of this backward d pawn and his good control in the center, and with this knight also controlling some squares on d5 and f5, and this knight is already guarding this d2 square, occupied guarding this, and also not to forget that d4 is not possible at the moment, because it leaves this pawn a little bit shaky, and when knight f5 comes, then this pawn is really going for all money. And rook d3, excellent move from Dubov, just fixing this pawn here and creating a lot of pressure on white, and white will, as I said, white will be occupied taking this guarding this pawn, especially this knight, so that's not what white wants in this position. Anyway, rook a4, knight c6, and now rook e2. Probably rook here on e1. This rook would have been better. Just try to play this one to e3, maybe this rook to g4, creating a counter attack on the king side. Maybe knight could come to here, just giving up this pawn and creating its own attack on the king side. Maybe this far advanced pawn would have done something better, may or may not be, but anyway, let's not go there to that road. Knight a5, rook e2, just giving more protection to this square so that this knight is able to move like this. Try to hassle this one. Maybe knight c4, putting pressure on this pawn like that. g4, rook 8, d5, and now a mistake in my opinion here. With this rook being played here, and it could have been better before going to knight h4. Maybe he could have tried to go rook e4. So of course, if you take with the rook, then rook takes, and d2 is very well secured in that position. The rook cannot take it because knight guards it, as I said, so he has to move this knight then. So that would have been better probably, and if knight takes, then knight takes, the position just gets better, but maybe that also would be better for black, but it still would have cleared white's path, in fact, in that way. But okay, knight h4 was too, I should say, too hastily done, because that allows this d2 pawn to drop. And knight f5, as we discussed, the plan to take on g7 is too slow indeed here, because rook takes a2, rook takes a2, g6, hg6, hg6, and this rook isn't coming anywhere to hunt for these pawns. And there are so many loose pieces here for white. Not g4 at the moment, but these two certainly are loose pieces in the position, and already there is a question to this knight. So it doesn't look like white is in comfort, and also these three connected pawns, they can be a bit of trouble for white king. Knight e7, rook d7, knight g8 attacking f6 pawn, f5, and gf5, gf5, knight h6 attacking the pawn on f5. But here he plays rook g7 check, which isn't too bad either. Probably knight d6 defending the pawn like that and trying to activate king, and then once king is protected, f4 is played, then knight e4 maybe could have created trouble for white. But rook g7 check anyway. Dubov wants clarity and he gets it. King f3, rook g5, knight f7 attacking the rook, rook h5. Probably rook g4 would have been a better move, but rook h5 was somewhat a misstep in the position. Nevertheless, king g3, rook h7 attacks the knight, knight goes to g5, rook d7 taking central position, king h4. So basically he is trying to come through this way and try to hunt these pawns, but the king is too slow for that, because rook d3, and suddenly everything is falling on the queen side. This pawn is also loose now, and black with the extra pawn is looking tremendous here. King h5, so he's continuing that plan, but he dumps this pawn on c3. King h6, king g6. Why didn't he play king g6? I don't know. People are saying mouse slip, mouse slip. A nice excuse to make when you blunder. King c6, now king g6, f4 is getting away from this capture, and now knight e4 attacking the rook. Rook comes to a3. Now this pawn is under threat, and if this rook is taken, knight takes, then it would be very easy for black to gobble up this pawn, and knight would be on a3. So he would come like this and this, maybe like this and this to capture this one. This knight has to move in some time, and the position already looks hopeless. Rook c2 pinning the knight, rook takes a4, defends the knight and takes the pawn. So black is 3 pawns up in this position, and it is already looking hopeless for black, but but Naka continues. King f5, b5 protecting this pinned knight. Even more, rook c1, rook a3. So rook is getting out of this protection and try to hassle now final pawn here. Rook d1, b4, rook d8, knight b6. Probably king c7 to hassle this rook would have been better, but our position is already winning. Every move is winning. There isn't any terrible blunders that would happen, especially when grandmasters are playing. A terrible blunder would have been to play rook e3, giving up the rook, and then playing something dubious here maybe, but no. King takes e5, so he gets 1 pawn, so Dubov is 2 pawns up. But the only thing that would have gone for Hikaru here was the time. Dubov had 1 minute and 20 seconds, whereas Nakamura had almost 3 minutes in this position, so he had time advantage in the lost position, and Dubov had to fight. It's very difficult to win the winnable. If engines show -7, -8, and you have to prove it. It's not like it is given on the platter that you should resign or something. You have to win it. Either your player resigns or you checkmate him. That's it. And in the low time, those -7, -8 doesn't matter. If you lose on time, that's the worst thing that can ever happen. I can tell this from my personal experience as well. Anyway, coming back to the game. b3, so he's pushing his passed pawn, and it doesn't look like he's gonna control that. Rook d6 check, but this is already a desperation. King d5, you can check it here, but it doesn't help. Simply king c4 comes, and already the position is hopeless. Rook d1, he can play b2 straight away, but what he plays isn't bad either. King b4, just putting this king so that not this nonsense happening. And if you play knight d2, then knight c4 exchanges the knights, and the position is clear-cut winning. White can take this pawn, but these two pawns, especially this b3 pawn, is a monster here. Tries king d4, rook a5, and after that he resigned the game. He played knight c3, but that wasn't recorded, because you play anything, then b2 is a monster indeed in this position. And it was, I think, here or after knight c3 that Naka resigned. Probably it was after knight c3 that Hikaru resigned the game, but you can play anything. It's a resignable position anyway. You play rook c5, and that would be end of the world. The knight has to move, and when it moves, that's it. Rook d5 picks this rook, and it would be end of the world. And so Dubov went 1 up in the first game, and the last 3 games were drawn. So which means that Dubov won the set 2. Oh, that's amazing, but you have to remember that there is always set 3 here. So we have to come back tomorrow to see what happens in the set 3. Nakamura had good chance in game 4, but he just kept missing one particular move, h3, and he didn't play that. It would have closed the king side, and if he had done that too quickly, things would have been better for Hikaru, and he could have forced an Armageddon today and would have wrapped up the tournament today itself. But as it turns out, Dubov won this set, and he drew the last 3 games, and congratulations to Dubov, but not yet. There is another set to be played tomorrow. We will come for that. I hope you like my video. I hope you like my analysis. Till then, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.